and the Chicago Bears get the victory. Joe Buck, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman join us as they do after every game. And Joe, let's give credit to this Chicago team. They get the victory, right? And they're coming off a loss on the road against Detroit where, frankly, they were better for most of the game. And they're 3-8. And you've done this for years. You talk to coaches and players, and I think you get a good sense. How invested are they? How much do they believe they can take their game on the road and get a victory? What was your sense of what they believed they could do tonight, which ends up with them getting a win on the road?
Well, I think they came in knowing and feeling that they could win. They did win. They didn't get the touchdown, as you said, but they won the ball game. And to be honest about it, there are a lot of people on this team and in this organization that are playing and coaching for their job next year. So, I mean, there's plenty of motivation to play well, coach well, to come into this game against Josh Dobbs and win a game on the road. They did it. It wasn't pretty. 6 turnover game in total. The Vikings coughed it up 4 times. That's the main reason why they walk out of here losers of this game. Still 6-6, but that was a tough one to take at home if you're the Vikings in a loss to the Chicago Bears.
Right, that's the mistake you make when you look at the schedule and say, oh, they got an easy schedule. That's just rarely the case in the NFL, as you two know so well. Troy, I want to ask about Dobbs in a moment, but first you made the comment, and I agree. This Flores defense, its calling card is blitzing. And this is a game where one big play could change the outcome, and ultimately it did, right? The 36-yarder to Moore sets him up to win the game. I'm just curious why he doesn't bring pressure in that spot. What was your sense of that?
Yeah, I was surprised because I think that when I've seen Brian Flores, it doesn't matter if the game's on the line. That's what he does. That's his DNA. He's going to come after the quarterback, and as they start getting closer to field goal range, then I thought he was really going to start bringing some pressure because it didn't really work for them with the 3-man rush, and you're giving Fields areas to go with the football. I'll be interested to hear what he has to say. He's like every other coach or every other player that he's going to second guess the calls that he made down the stretch. The defense obviously did a lot of really good things, but when the game was on the line, they failed to make the stop, and that's what really matters most in these ball games, and he'll be second guessing himself for a good part of the night.
When we talked on Countdown, we talked about this Dobbs story, and this Joshua Dobbs story is hard not to get behind, right? He's been all over the place, 5 different teams in a year, and now he's got this opportunity. And I don't know if this is midnight striking and you know, the slipper doesn't fit or whatever, but I mean, Troy, you tell me, you've got to protect the football in this league, and how concerning would this be that this is more than just a 60-minute picture into what the guy is as a player?
Well, you know, it's a great story, like we've all said, and you root for a guy, and he's been all over the place, and he's gotten his opportunities, and to come in here the way he did and win some games and do some really good things. I mean, I'm certainly pulling for him, and tonight wasn't his best effort. I think that, you know, there's a reason why Joshua Dobbs is been where he's been, and there's that element. He's exciting. And there's that element of risk every time he drops back, and tonight we saw that. But I don't think it takes away from what he's done, what he represents. A lot of people pulling for him, and I know even within that locker room what he's been able to do. The odds were against him when he joined this team to even accomplish what he's accomplished coming into this game tonight. So I continue to pull for him. But, yeah, it was a tough afternoon, and I thought, quite honestly, that Chicago defensively did a lot more than I expected in terms of their pass rush and getting after him. I thought their offensive line would perform better than what they did, and he was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Joe, you said it well, man. This is a tough one for Minnesota to take. They fall back to 6-6, but still in the mix on the back end in the NFC for a playoff spot. Next week, we're down in Jacksonville, a team that's right there at the top of the AFC. Jacksonville welcoming Cincinnati to town. Travel safely down there. Look forward to talking to you there next week in Jacksonville. Thank you.
See you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep, thank you. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman with us every Monday night, and next week it's the Jags and the Bengals. And as you look at that NFC playoff picture, Minnesota's still there at 6-6, but man, they gave one away at home against a team that came in at 3-8. That puts them in a spot where there's not a whole lot of wiggle room. And Green Bay off that big win at Detroit last week. Los Angeles off the win as well. They're hanging around on the outside for the moment